Championship season is upon us, and as we get set to go racing once again at the iRacing League, you have yourselves 11 drivers fighting for the final spots up for grabs. The top 12 in points after tonight will be fighting it out for a championship over the next month and change. Welcome back to the iRacing League on Monday nights and to Green Flag TV. My name is Little Ramble alongside James Newton, bringing you all of racing action from start to finish on this fantastic Monday afternoon. James, we're getting set to close out the regular series season, and tonight, after about 200 laps, we're going to find out who will be our contenders for the championship for the next 5 weeks.
That's absolutely right, and it is extremely close, and I don't think there's anyone who could possibly have on their bingo card exactly what's going to be transpiring this evening. I am very, very excited. This is going to be a seriously, seriously close battle.
You talk about close. Look at the point standings enter racing action today. 3 drivers, Brandon Bogaski, Kaden Gargiulo, Sean Williams, tied for the final spot in McKinney, Fleck, LaFrance, all within 10 points of the margin. Realistically, everybody up to Nicholas Caressel, not safe on points. Everyone down to Brian Dees with a chance to make their way into the show here tonight. So 11 drivers make that 12 drivers, all with an effort here to go for those final spots, and this is quite literally a winner-takes-all scenario.
Yeah, absolutely. It almost feels like we've got the chase already happening as we see, again, just how close it is. And I mean, again, you're talking about a majority of the top 12 that are going to be trying to fight this out. Again, 200 laps around this 3/4 mile D-shaped oval of Richmond.
And you can see the races that will be racing it out with us here in the chase. Darlington, Chicagoland, Bristol, and Phoenix will close out the season here for us this afternoon. Let's take a look at the track here as we get set to go racing here at the Richmond Raceway. It's going to be a fun afternoon for a lot of drivers on the afternoon. It is 89 degrees Fahrenheit down there at the Richmond Raceway with 14 degrees of banking. They call this place the Axe Track for a reason, and right now conditions are ripe for a lot of action here on the afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. Quite a storied venue as well. Opened in 1946. And Richard Petty into the Cup cars, taking 13 victories around this place. And lovely weather, I must say. This is not one of those tracks that you'd really want to walk around barefoot. 89 degrees out there, but it's not terrible. And I think that the drivers are going to be, I think that the competition is going to be a little bit hotter than the track.
And of course, that track is going to cool over time as this field is getting set to go racing into the dusk here this afternoon. James, overall, it's been a story of many drivers trying to see who could run down Jaden Hopp. So far, nobody has realistically had an answer. Out of the 14 starts, Jaden Hopp has failed to finish outside of the top 10 only twice, out of the top 5 only thrice, and has won 7 of the 14 races. Other wins, 2 to Wesley Triplett, 2 to Benjamin Lacey, then 1 to Thorpe, Marasco, and McKinney apiece. But no one's had an answer for that 0-0. Now, the good news for Jaden Hopp, he does not need to worry about the points here this afternoon. Neither does Triplett, Thorpe, or Lacey. They are all locked in to the chase.
Yeah, lots and lots of drivers trying to stay away from that line. Obviously, winning half the races isn't a bad way to do it if you are the 0-0 of Hopp. And of course, 3 other drivers, 1st through 4th, Lacey being the last driver who is points-wise safe from that 70-point swing that you can pick up here in this round. And again, Nicholas Caressel looking very good, right? Running 5th position and has a pair of top 5s, but they're still going to have a good night. Otherwise, it could swing all the way back.
As we get set to go racing here on the afternoon, let's take a rundown of your starting grid for racing action here at the Richmond Raceway. The last race of the regular series season is upon us. Michael Thorpe Jr. started this race. Number 1, Brody Gunter, making his high time racing debut, will start number 2 alongside him on the front row. Row number 2, Benjamin Lacey starts alongside Wesley Triplett. Row number 3, Brian Dees, Dustin Ping will sit in 5th and 6th. Row 4 contains Caleb McKinney and Ryan Fleck. Top 10 closed down by Brandon Edgington, the rookie. He's alongside fellow rookie and driver tied for the cut line, Brandon Bogaski.
11 finds the 8 of Kevin Foster with Ty Marasco in the 1 alongside in 12th position. Row 7 is going to be Caden Gargiula, one of the other drivers, tied with this driver next door, basically. Sean Williams, 13th, 14th for those two. Wesley Peebles in the 47 lines up 15th, about half a second off of pace of the leader. Jonathan Canfield in the 16 for Golden Guardian Autosport lines up 16th. 17th is the 00 of our points leader at the moment, Jaden Hopp. Jaden Browder in the 5 alongside an 18. 19th is going to be Nicholas Caressel in the 40. Scott Shire in the 4 lines up in 20.
Down the field from there, it's going to be Austin McGill, Robert Lukens, and Ohio Van Kamen bringing up the tail of the field. Now, here is a big developing story. We are already down one driver who will not be racing his way to the chase. Connor LaFrance was 8 points to the good entering today, 8th place of the points. He is not taken to the track this afternoon, so that is disaster for a driver that showed so much promise at the top of the season, and he is going to be our first casualty who will not be racing in a tight points battle for the chase.
That is a big, big shame, obviously, with the championship, or at least trying to get into the championship standings right on a knife's edge. That is a big, big blow for Connor, but a big opportunity for other drivers who are trying to get their way into that spot.
23 trucks all on the racetrack, all trying to see who will be the last drivers in, as well as some rookies looking set to make names for themselves as the field will come around turn numbers 3 and 4. iRacing Pace Truck pulls into pit road. Happy you're joining us for racing action here on Monday night. Time to get the party started. It's go, go, go for the regular season finale at the action track. Off of turn number 4 up front. Michael Thorpe Jr., the Chicago native, pulling clear around the outside. Gunter looking to the inside. No joy this time through. Thorpe leads the way at the end of lap number 1.
Yeah, able to take it, but we've got a handful of 2 wide, a little bit of a snap. That looks like Brandon Bogaski down the inside. 17 of Brian Dees as well, getting a little bit loose as they still try to work their way through. The 76 almost around, all the way around, not quite on the infield as Caleb McKinney goes for a ride.
And McKinney all the way down, keeps it off the inside wall. He'll get himself back onto the racetrack, but now a long way down the field, not where he needs to be if he wants to race his way into the chase. Brian Dees trying to challenge the inside of Brandon Edgington. Bogaski a little further up the road, looking to race behind his dummy racing teammate, Ryan Fleck. A lot of side-by-side still deep in the pack. Jaden Hopp struggling to work his way around Sean Williams and Nicholas Caressel.
Drivers trying to get a bit of track position if they can. Of course, not going to be too hot, and as you said, Nolan, as the sun proceeds over the Richmond, Virginia skyline, track temps should drop, but you still want to try to take care of that right front tire. Again, it's a long way, those 200 laps, and with potentially the possibility of maybe a one-stop, if it all goes right, it is a very long shot. We have a little bit of contact coming out of the final corner.
Up the track for Ryan Fleck. He's able to get clear, not quite, of Dustin Ping, the Season 2 champion, still holding on to the inside line. Fleck maintains his run up on the top side. Will hold on to the 5th place for the time being. But Fleck looking set to work his way up to the front. Ping gets loose out of turn 4. That should open up the door for Fleck to get clear into turn number 1. Up front, Gunter attacking the inside of Michael Thorpe Jr. once again.
Like the 01 trying the inside, obviously trying to get at least to the door where they were on the exit of the previous set of corners. Sun blinding us as we come across the stripe one more time. Thorpe Jr. able to sweep around the outside and potentially maybe wanting to back off a little bit. Again, trying to save tires if they can. But Brody Gunter not making that easy. Attack after attack, and I don't think the 01's done.
Not done fighting yet as Thorpe Gunter continue to run 1 and 2. I'm keeping close tabs on Brody Gunter throughout the course of the afternoon. Gunter is a name that those that were watching Green Flag TV back in 2023 and 2024 on Sunday nights would be very familiar with, coming from the American Sim Racing League and a champion as well in their Sunday Night Cup series as well. So Gunter's a driver that knows how to win races, knows how to get titles. He's not going to be in the fight for one today, but this is what we have seen from drivers like Wesley Triplett that have proven to be fast here. Jaden Hopp, of course, proven to be fast. They come in late, assess the competition, and they come back in force the season after. We'll see if Gunter sticks around to be a regular runner. If he does, he's going to be a serious threat for a championship in Season 7.
Yeah, that's a moment that happens on a lot of different racetracks all across the country where somebody potentially new to the normal guys that run the series, somebody comes in, puts it second on the front row of the grid in their first outing, and you have to kind of figure out, all right, who is this? What are they up to? And obviously a name that people will know, but will the drivers be able to get up to speed with the 01? Michael Thorpe Jr. able to hang on so far. Is it going to have a little bit more battle, a little bit of side-by-side. There's another one of the dummy racers, number 47. Wesley Peebles. As Jaden Hopp look like they're making their way up the grid as well.
Jaden Browder suffered with some connection difficulties deeper in the field as the 00 for Old School Racers trying to claw his way back to the field. Once again, taking his customary last to first challenge by choosing not to qualify for today's race. He's up to 13th after starting back at the number 17 spot along with some other runners that did not make the start of this race. And Kressel tucks back in line. So Hopp making slow but steady progress back to the order. Gunter yet again trying for the inside line. This hasn't worked though the last few times for Gunter. Outside seems like where all the momentum is right now.
Yeah, it looks like 34 is able to hang around for about 2 laps, or probably just the 01 able to hang around the inside for about 2 tours of this Richmond circuit until the 34 is able to get that good drive, getting pinched a little bit naturally off of Final 4. Oh, and that is a sideways number 40.
Caution out for the first time.
That is Nicholas Caressel.
The first time today, and it looks like there's been a massive accident on the back straightaway. I saw at least 5 trucks were stopped back there, about a quarter of the field, getting tangled up in whatever went down back here. Let's take a look, find out what happened. It started, it looks like, with Nicholas Caressel and Wesley Peebles. Oh, Caressel got checked up by Caden Gargiulo. Then here comes the 47 wheels from behind. Caressel was loose. And Peebles ended up getting loose and hooked the back of the 40.
Wow, look like 2 completely different moments happening at the same time. They were not involved until they were connected, basically. And look at that, almost a roadblock across the entry into 3. Wow.
I'll tell you what, some drivers like Caleb McKinney did a good job of getting around this mess as he saw Peebles, chasing it, trying to catch it. Overall, no really big hard hits. Sean Williams slid to a stop without any damage. I'd argue Scott Shire probably got the worst out of that deal. He's got a lot of damage to the front of that Monster Jam Gravedigger Ford F-150. Not looking pretty out there.
Yeah, and I think the 89 of Sean Williams got a decent amount of rear damage as well. Not sure how bad it actually is, but of course the 89 trying to check up, and the driver in behind kind of went over the rear, having to look there. Now that looks perfectly fine to me. I'm quite surprised.
Yeah, I think he got away with that one safe and sound. Up front, it's Thorpe, Gunter, Lacey, Triplett, and Fleck running in the top 5. Biggest mover of the day so far, Austin McGill, running back in the number 12 spot, up 9 spots after starting 21st on the field. Next driver up, Kyle Van Cummins, started 23rd. He's up 7 to 16th. Thorpe going to pick the outside lane for the restart. He knows where all the momentum is, and that's going to force Brody Gunter down low. And I find it hard to blame Thorpe for that decision, right? I mean, you've seen Gunter try and fail 3 separate times to make the pass down the inside. Why risk started on the inside then?
Yeah, definitely. The 34, again, most likely going to get the better run considering they're able to dictate the pace right on that outside line, but also courtesy of being the truck that has the jump. Whoever gets to pull the trigger first. And of course, it does not help, or it does help the 34 that this is a D-shaped oval as well. So coming out of 4, a little bit more room to play with on the outside.
Green flag coming out this time by as Thorpe, Gunter, and Moore continue to try to run away with this one. Back into turn numbers 1 and 2, looking for 3 wide deeper in the field with McGill going up around the top shelf. You know, joy, it looks like up there for him. They're going to get back down to 2 as we hit the back stretch.
So it's much, much more congested, especially up at the front as Triplet trying to still hang around the outside. Brody Gunter really able to hang in on the bottom in a way as the 33 goes around.
And that would be Robert Lukens spinning his entry around. So yet again, another tough break for Lukens as he will be the next driver to bring this race to a halt. This time we did not go nearly as far as the opening round. And may have had some help here from Kyle Van Cummins from the looks of things. Let's check in. We'll see what happened. There's Lukens down low. Williams looking for 3. Common kind of chopped the nose with the 33. Lukens stuck it in there where his nose didn't really belong. Kyle Van Cummins saved it. Lukens, not so much.
Yeah, not so much. Of course, the 14, kind of a glancing blow, right? The 33 is rotating to the right, so it almost didn't have too much weight to move out of the way. Oh, yeah, just everybody trying to go down to the inside. We saw a little bit of that from Caden Gargiulo trying to get down low, which wasn't helping matters when it came to the first caution. On board with the 14 of Van Cummins, and we go. Yeah, so again, sideways, good catch. The nice slow slide, and then, of course, 33 right across our nose. 14 able to make it on through, but, of course, the 33 up into the wall. So we'll have another, a second caution in very quick succession here, Nolan.
Michael Thorpe Jr., Brody Gunter, Wesley Triplet, Dustin Ping, Benjamin Lacey, our new top 5 runners. No surprise, we didn't really make it far. Ryan Fleck did drop back to 6th, though, as a result of this incident. In pit road is Scott Shire, and he's taking all the chances he can to get whatever damage he can fixed up from that huge incident that he had earlier on.
Yeah, definitely. Also having a look here, Jaden Hopp in the 00, currently 16th, coming in, taking fuel. Looks like. So that is interesting move for the 00, considering that I was expecting everybody to go as long as possible on fuel. It may just be, it's going to be a 2-stopper and that's that, but it was always kind of a long shot trying to split 200 laps when, again, the driver's looking around maybe 90-ish laps on a tank of fuel, but the tires may be so worn, as we talked about, that trying to go 90 laps on tires is not really going to be the way to go.
Coming around turn numbers 3 and 4. We'll do it again as Michael Thorpe Jr., Brody Gunter will start 1-2. Green flag back in the air. We are racing here this afternoon. Thorpe jumping away well. Gunter not able to challenge him into turn number 1. So field remains clean and green as we work to the back straightaway. One truck into the wall. That's time Orasco causing the field to scramble behind him.
Almost 3 wide because of it. Able to get through. It's very 2x2 as we're finishing the first lap after this caution. And a very brave move. Dustin Ping coming down to the bottom in front of Brody Gunter. And that's a big, big statement from the 81.
Brody Gunter dropping back to third. They remain too wide, deeper in the field. Double race teammates Fleck and Triplett running fourth and fifth, both on the outside line, with Benjamin Lacey disrupting their line down on the inside. We're out of that initial hole. Dustin Ping charging the inside of Michael Thorpe Jr. and going for the race lead.
Curious to see what Wesley Triplett thinks about trying to have a look at the 01 as the front two are squabbling and Ping is all over the shop. And the 34 is going to get ahead, but not for long as they're still side by side. It looks like Brody Gunter's going to choose the outside and try to go with Michael Thorpe, get that second spot back.
He's still looking for the inside, but Thorpe has seen that outside work on defense all night tonight so far in Brody Gunter. And he knows he can work on Dustin Ping as well and just cause him to chew up that right front. Ping's not having it, though. He's really chucking her in there, trying to find an opening. No dice, though, as Thorpe continues to maintain his run on the top side. And he's going to get clear that last time by down the front straightaway before they hit turn one.
So many trucks, especially the ones up front again, coming out of 2 and 4. It's so difficult to put the power down. It's now almost 3 wide. The 74 drives it in. Wesley Triplett trying to have a look at second position. Back to fourth as Brody Gunter hanging around the outside. We've seen so many moments where drivers trying to get the independent rear suspension of these trucks to bite. And there's just no space down low. As again, not a lot of banking coming out of these corners. So these trucks are extremely lively.
Just how much Dustin Ping is struggling to maintain that momentum down to the inside. They are going to go 3 wide, deeper in the pack into turn number 1. Austin McGill backs out for the inside of Brian Dees and Brandon Bogaski, letting us focus back to the front of the field where Thorpe is not being given a chance to breathe by Dustin Ping or Brody Gunter. Fantastic racing, though. Everybody so far being very respectful of each other.
Yeah, this almost looks like Daytona or something. They're 2 wide almost all the way through. At least the top 10 is now looking almost 3 wide. I don't think the 01's going to get there. Maybe try to split the 2? No, going to give a little bit of a shove there to the 34.
Oh, and around goes Michael Thorpe Jr. He's able to hold on to it. That lets Dustin Ping through into the lead, and Thorpe and Gunter both in trouble as Ping rockets away with the number 1 spot. Ryan Fleck now challenging for the lead.
I said a bit of a shove, but I didn't think it was going to continue into the corner, which is what it looked like it might have been again through here into turn 3. Have to get a better look at that, which we will get.
Right about there is the hard shot, and I don't think Brody Gunter meant to do that. I think that was more just he misjudged the braking point into turn 3.
Yeah, I thought it was a very soft, kind of a soft lean into the corner, then they backed off. But it looks like they backed off on the straight and then trying to drive it in really deep. Just kind of misjudged where the 34 was going to be slowing down.
And for the lead, contact up front, Dustin Ping and Ryan Fleck bang doors. Fleck's down the inside now of the Season 2 champion. Rookie versus veteran, 2 Rams going at it as they make their way down the back chute into turn number 3. A lot of contact being made here amongst the front runners. No one is given an inch, and race control. Oh, it's got more trucks around to the back. That's Kevin Foster down to the inside. I will point out, race control had a very lengthy conversation with the drivers before, saying, look, this is a cutoff race, guys. Be respectful of the drivers fighting for those championship spots, and that respect might be waning a little bit.
Yeah, I think that there might have been an expiration date on it. Hopefully not. As again,
Oh
look at this. So
my.
the top 3 pairs have swapped sides, and now back down the inside again goes Triplet, who's got a really good run right up to the inside of Pink, and now it's going to be 3 wide for the lead. Nolan, oh my goodness.
They can't keep doing this. This is going to end in complete catastrophe here as they go 3 wide, multiple rows deep at the Richmond Raceway. Benjamin Lacey still holding on to the inside line. You got McGill, you got Fleck and the things. Will they look for 4? They're not committed to 4 wide just yet, but you know that it's coming. Something here is going to break. Austin McGill, he wants 4. He looked low. He didn't make the move for it. Lacey backs out. Triplet holding on to the middle line. And Dustin Ping still will not let that lead go from the outside.
This is absolutely incredible. Ryan Fleck, high side on Benjamin Lacey, who's still just hanging down low, lurking, really getting good runs in the 7. Very, very strong down low, but it just does not look like the preferred line, does it? It just looks like drivers are trying to do what they can down there, whereas drivers like 74 Triplet really, really attacking. Maybe a bit boxed in on the back straight, able to get around the outside.
Oh, Triplet's got the outside now. Dustin Ping could be in trouble here. We've seen how good that outside has been on defense. Is it just as good in offense? He goes from top to bottom. Ping's into the wall. Triplet's through to the lead just like that. Ping left the door open and fell for the bait.
Fantastic heads-up driving by Triplet. There was no margin at all. There's a bit of a shot from Ryan Fleck into the back of the 81 of Dustin Ping, who's fallen back to 3rd. Still a little bit wild for that 81 machine. Brody Gunter bringing themselves back into the conversation for the top 4.
Brody Gunter got muscled out with Michael Thorpe Jr. after their combined bump and run went a little bit awry earlier in this race. But wouldn't Gunter love to work his way back to the front? Thorpe's still in the mix here as well. Ping still holding on for 3rd. Ryan Fleck back in 5th now up on the top side. And it looks like at least Triplet and Lacey able to get some breathing room.
Yeah, breathing room to the tune of about half a second, which is a lot here at Richmond. Again, short track racing, trying to get any kind of breathing space. There's no space there for the 9 of Ryan Fleck. McGill down the inside, trying to charge even further up. A big swap from the 48 Rockstar machine. That was very close to going around into 1.
Brody Gunter up to the top side. Dustin Ping hanging back in 4th. McGill running 5th. Thorpe and Co. still with a lot of room to work with. As my goodness, this has just been a haymaker of an opening quarter of this race. And do these guys know, James, that they've got over 150 laps still left to run yet?
I don't think there's any possibility they know. How can... Oh, hang on, here we go. I think they might have heard you here, Lacey, going down to the bottom for the lead. I was literally going to try to bring this point up, Nolan, that potentially the top 2, maybe they don't fight. Maybe they have, Triplet leads, Lacey follows. They try to get a bigger gap, maybe a second or second and a half before they start going at it at the end of maybe, lap 90 or so. And just like that, they're now side by side. This may bring the rest of the field back in.
Lacey will hold on as Wesley Triplet looks to the inside. Trying to pull the slider here, right up across the nose of Benjamin Lacey. Get the move done, he will. Lacey back to the inside now. Side by side into turn number 1. Can Lacey repay the favor? He's trying to push up from the bottom lane, but Triplet still has the nose in there. And he gets back door to door on the outside.
I thought Triplet might try to go back underneath. The 74's thinking about it. They have plenty of speed on the high side, but the trick is, does Lacey give them anything? Down low, the 7 is still there as they're still swapping spots. We went on board the front of the 7, trying to look at the 74, and we were side by side as Michael Thorpe Jr. in the rear. 34 still trying to fly around. Currently holds the fastest lap of the race. The rears on that 34 look about as worn as anyone's. And this battle for the lead, again, as I was saying, is just going to bring the rest of the field back in.
you were mentioning earlier that you were reminded of Daytona with the type of race we saw. I'd argue it's more like Auto Club. At least when you get to Daytona, all the side-by-side is in composed lanes. Not the case with Auto Club, and that has not been the case here either.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking in terms of the visual, right? Almost everybody's 2x2, and they're, you know, I wouldn't use the word comfortable, but they seem determined to stay 2x2, which is why I was so surprised, right? You've got, you know, almost 3 times the amount of track at Daytona and severe banking, considering that we are only a little bit of banking through these corners.
Overall, Bogaski and Browder racing this one out side by side as we get back down into turn numbers 1 and 2. Browder still holds the inside. Justin Ping up on the top shelf, trying to get that run going. Jaden Hopp wants to make something happen around the outside of Ryan Fleck. In the midst of all of this, Jaden Hopp has been quietly picking his way through the order. He's now threatening for the top 5.
Yeah, that Tacoma's been very opportunistic. Been watching how steady the 00 has been as well. Very firm on their line, very determined, almost predictable, but just so fast that it, you know, there's no need for surprise. It's just a little bit later braking as we see some sparks on the underside of that machine. It looked like as the sun is going down.
And the sun dipping behind the grandstands. Brody Gunter now applying pressure to Wesley Triplett. I think all that fighting Triplett did is cook those right sides. And that has unfortunately been a problem for the Dummy Racing crew. They're really good in the short run, but they burn through the tires too quickly. And now you see Brody Gunter making a run at it here alongside Wesley Triplett. Overall, the action continuing to be a bit of a hotly contested move here. My goodness, what a run we're having.
It's been absolutely fantastic. We've all gotten our money's worth so far, and again, this is one of the races where I have to know who's going to take it because, again, as you said, like gladiators out there. It's been a barnstormer. It's been all sorts of different tortured metaphors as we see the 2 drivers who were just up in the front. Actually, all 3 of these drivers at one point have led a lap. So the 74, the 01, and the 34. Currently 2nd through 4th as, again, Michael Thorpe extremely quick. Thorpe Jr. in the 34-30 line on the screen. But the rear does not seem to be happy. So if Michael Thorpe is able to hang with the rest, that is good on them. But yeah, these tires, looks like the 01 has probably the best set of this trio.
Lacey still hanging on here with Gunter, Thorpe, McGill deeper in the wings. Austin McGill would love to get a charge going as McGill trying to look to the inside of the Chicago native Michael Thorpe Jr. Thorpe pushing up from the inside of the racetrack. Mostly single file, the further down the order you go.
Always looking to prove you wrong down the inside for the 76. McKinney on Bogaski. Oh, up into the door of the 44. That was a send and a half.
Yeah, Brandon Bogaski able to really make something happen here. Look out as Kenny Gargiulo getting a little bit stacked up. There's Kevin Foster now hanging on to the inside groove. Foster doing everything he can do to try to dive for the inside line. Foster wanting to make get an effort here for the 14th place position around Gargiulo. By the way, we just passed the end of the stage. Lacey was the winner of said stage.
Quite commanding fashion as well. 9/10 out in front. So that was Lacey from Triplett and Gunter, top 3. But we race on, and McGill wanting to wipe the 34 out of the top 3, metaphorically, of course, as they're down the inside. Thorpe, I believe, prefers that high side. We saw them on that last restart as the 44 trundles down pit road.
In fact, a good chunk of drivers making their way down pit road this time. Now that the stage is complete, a lot of guys are coming down here. I'd reckon for fresh tires more than anything. Caution on the racetrack, courtesy of Robert Lukens for the second time tonight. And this is going to bring everyone into the box. Take a look as Lukens is just going to loop it all by himself out of turn 4.
Oh, so late in the band as well. Get out of the corner, the revs rise, you get up near the wall, everything's feeling good, and then it just won't stop turning left.
Well, all of this is going to bring Benjamin Lacey and more down pit road. It was a pretty intense drive that we had here so far, but there is still a long way to go in racing action this afternoon. We're going to take ourselves a step back. When we return, more racing action on Green Flag TV. You're watching the High Tide Racing League Premier Series and the last regular series race here from Richmond.
iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV. You're watching the last race of the regular series season of the High Tide Racing League Premier Series from the action track. My name is Ola Ramble alongside James Newton, bringing you all of racing action from start to finish. What a wild opening stage we had. We're about to get set for the remainder of stage number 2, following a caution immediately after the stage one's conclusion. Gargiulo has stayed out on 50-lap full tires, James.
Yeah, this is going to be a fight for survival for the 25. We also saw Lacey take the first stage, the only stage we're going to have in the number 7 machine. Benjamin Lacey taking that home by about 9/10 of a second. So we also have Michael Thorpe and Brody Gunter, other drivers that have led laps here today at Richmond. And I'm excited to see what this first, I was going to say first half of the race, first third of the race has been insane as we get back under green.
Green flag back in the air. Everyone except for Gargiulo on fresh tires, and look at how quickly he's going to lose the lead here. Lacey, Thorpe, both through on the inside. Gunter through by the inside before they even get into turn number 3. And Thorpe's going for the lead on Benjamin Lacey. A huge send to the bottom. Going to see Thorpe back to the point.
Absolutely immediate, and Lacey's going to try to hang in there. The 34 on fresh tires is so quick. What we saw earlier on was the 34 battling with tires that they basically chewed through by doing said battling. Lacey's not going to give this up. Everybody's on those fresh tires, so they're going to have all the confidence in the world to do battle once again.
Green flag continuing to roll here on the afternoon as everybody is trying to see if they can't hang firm. Lacey's got the bottom side. Thorpe's still working the top side. A little bit of 2 wide, a little bit of almost. They are looking for 3 wide, deeper in the pack here. They aren't going to go for it, at least not yet. Still 2 wide for the lead up front. Thorpe cannot catch a break out here.
Fantastic stuff. We're seeing Eddington in the 19, down low on the 16 of Jonathan Canfield, who goes almost into the inside wall. The Ram is able to hang on to it. Slots back in front of Caden Gargiulo in the 25. To catch up with the top 4. That was close, Nolan.
Lacey's able to hold this one around the top side as Brody Gunter, though, fighting for second place now, and Thorpe's in the way, preventing them from being able to properly charge out of here with that second place spot. And something tells me here, James, we're about to get a repeat of what we saw in the first 60 laps of this race.
Well, I see the 00 of Jaden Hopp trying to go around the outside of the biggest mover in Austin McGill. And that 00 Tacoma seems like it's on the way. This battle up front is absolutely fantastic. You got Gunter trying to stay in the wheel tracks of Thorpe Jr., looking for any inside opportunity they can. Lacey's occupying that spot, but Lacey not quite able to get down the inside of the 34. Thorpe Jr. again is basically wearing the field like a coat, a bit of a wiggle out of 2.
Still 27 laps. There'll be 26 laps to go before we get to halfway. Thorpe still leading the way up front. Gunter and Lacey still running second and third place. And James, it's moments like this that I wish we could put the entire race as a highlight reel, but frankly, not possible. Well, this might just be one that gets re-aired at some point down the line, because holy cow, what a run we're having.
Yeah, it is absolutely fantastic to see the 00 sending it a little bit of extra space, so why not use that for extra speed? Of course, you can always find this race and others on Green Flag TV, and you can check it out on YouTube as we're...
This is getting close.
Look. Oh my goodness, Lacey getting loose.
They're not done yet, that's for sure, as Thorpe's still holding on for the top spot. Jaden Hopp now into the top 5, threatening for the podium spots now. Wanting to go around the outside of Austin McGill. I'm amazed that out of the 3 incidents we've had so far, none of them have come from this extreme battling up at the head of the field.
Yeah, absolutely. We did see what I would consider an incident with the 01 and the 34. Gunter and Thorpe Jr. on the outside. It looks like that's Dustin Ping falling back to the outer reaches of the top 10.
It got a bit loose and overcorrected, slapped the outside wall on the front straightaway. He just saw Austin McGill make a little bit of contact as well with Jaden Browder. That let Brian Dees attack momentarily down the inside. Still no dice, though, as they work their way back into turn numbers 1 and 2. Thorpe will hold on for the time being as Gunter maintains his momentum up front. Lacey holding on from second place down low.
Latest development with the top 5 is that Austin McGill has kind of lost that inside momentum on Jaden Hopp. So the 00 at the moment has a bit more space to work. And Austin McGill in the 48 also has a bit of space back to Browder, who's now trying to change that. And there we go. So now Jaden Hopp dropping down low. They're going to use all the track here.
I mean, they've been using all the track all night long. This has been fantastic because holy cannoli, what a run we're having as Lacey, Thorpe, Gunter, Hopp all under a blanket like it's a high-speed pace lap at about 100 miles an hour. McGill trying to make it 3 around the outside.
48 Rockstar Machine really has been surprising me. I mean, obviously they've made up more spots than anybody else in this race, but they are looking very, very comfortable as well. Coming back on Jaden Hopp, who, again, I believe is fine to sit where they are, considering that Lacey and Gunter don't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon. Michael Thorpe Jr. still trying to hang around the outside, but how much closer can you get? That's the answer. Into the back of the 01 goes the 00.
Thorpe still hanging on. Jaden Hopp now wanted to go after the podium positions. He is down to 3rd. Now, here's my question. Even if Hopp gets up to the front, will he be able to run away? Because so far, no one that's gotten up front has stayed there for very long.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw Lacey with a bit of, as soon as the race, quote-unquote, settled down, considering how crazy it was at the beginning. This is still quite something spectacular. And look at Jaden Browder trying to get involved. They're queuing up 2x2 as Thorpe Jr. and Benjamin Lacey, they are racing. This is not a pace lap. This is not a Sunday drive. This is a Monday night shootout. And Lacey is absolutely going for this. And Thorpe Jr., they are just together on track, trying to figure out what the strategy is. We have other cars up the track as well. Going to see how this plays into it.
Yeah, this is lap traffic being caught. That's High Van Comet and Nicholas Caressel that have been going at it as well. It's a bit of a dogfight over the last few laps as well, but that's about to be broken up because here are the leaders. They are ready to party into the wall, and around goes Thorpe. He slams the inside wall. Caution's out again, and lap traffic will bring this next run to a close. Take another look back at what happened here to Michael Thorpe Jr. as they came around turn numbers 1 and 2. Caressel's up on the top side. Lacey's on Thorpe's inside, so Thorpe's going to try to cut low here. And Caressel trying to keep up the pace, slammed the wall. That caused Thorpe to check up right into Lacey, who couldn't avoid him.
I would assume that what the lap car was trying to do is just get the best run they can out of that turn 2. And basically, the 40 kind of pushed it really hard and actually went into the wall, kind of trying to stay away. Thorpe Jr. trying to basically like kind of track out, but to the truck on the outside. And it just looked like the 40 actually slowed themselves down, trying to go quicker.
Keeping in mind, by the way, that some of the drivers that we just saw, they had not pitted from the start of this race. So that really goes to show just how crucial it was to get all the fresh tires. Here's the catch. They're still on the lead lap and now on 20-lap pressure tires and with an extra set in their map pocket that all these front runners don't have anymore.
Yeah, that is an interesting play. Of course, this front runner's looking quite strong as we see Lacey still in third after that contact, so I don't think the 7 took anything too hefty. Of course, for Michael Thorpe Jr., who we've seen kind of fall back a little bit further with an incident with the 01. Michael Thorpe may still yet be involved. Of course, we're still about 20-25 laps away from potentially trying to go to the, as the 34 still in the pits. And there you see the repairs being made.
The good news for him is that he doesn't need to worry about it too much, right? He's 155 points to the good. He's locked in. Like, there's no way that he's being overtaken to the point. So, it sucks, but, hey, at least he's not going to be out the major positioning for a championship run here. He is back on the track, only 1 down.
That is true. I guess I'm looking at it from the point of view of some of the drivers who are, and I am personally, I'm very much a driver of how many points do I need to get? Where do I need to finish? If somebody changes position, let me know if I need to adjust my position, over. And there are other drivers that are like, I'm going to win this thing. You don't need the points. I don't care about the points. I'm taking home the big trophy. And I know that some drivers are this way or that way. And I think we probably have a majority of drivers who are, again, just looking for the best result possible.
Green flag coming out, this time by. We'll rocket back to turn number 1 as Brody Gunter, for the first time, leading the way. He has picked the outside for the restart. Jaden Hopp trying to challenge into turn number 1. No one's able to go with him, though, and so McGill will get in line for 3rd. Lacey will tuck in line for 4th. They're single file throughout the top 4 into turn number 3.
Looks like Brian D's the first driver that's kind of on that outer line, not in line with the rest of the crew. Down the inside goes Ty Marasco as they are side by side. The lead being challenged by Jaden Hopp, who, again, methodically making their way up through the field. We'll have to see how this scrap goes with Gunter and Hopp.
3 wide in the midfield. Dustin Ping down low. Sean Williams in the middle as well. David Overstreet up high. So is Kevin Foster. Everyone is looking to go at it as they head down to turn numbers 1 and 2. The number 1 of Ty Marasco. Still holding on. Jaden Hopp trying to look for the inside. Gunter shuts him off at the pass.
Such close racing. We're still getting treated to ridiculous moves up at the front. When I say ridiculous, I mean very, very close, very well measured, and absolutely nail-biting. You see McGill still looking for, basically getting greedy at this point. The 48 going for second position, trying to pinch the 00. I don't think they've got anything alongside on the exit of 4. Down this main straight, they may slot into that high side.
Gunter able to get his run around the top side. Jaden Hopp tucking in line for second. Oh my goodness. A lot of drivers a little loosey-goosey there out of turn numbers 1 and 2. McGill now wanting to put the challenge to Jaden Hopp, and Jaden Hopp is thinking probably, well, I guess it's not going to be so easy as blowing right by him like I did everybody else in the field. Brody Gunter, despite being in his high tide race league debut, he's not giving up that lead without a fight.
Yeah, he's not acting like somebody who's new, is he? The 01 really put on a show. McGill, look at that around the outside. Not a wiggle in sight for the 48. What a great pass on the 00.
Well, so here's the thing for Gunter, right? Yes, you don't want to create trouble because this is a critical championship race. You don't want to create problems with the field. At the same time, you don't want to just let everybody walk all over you because then you immediately gain the reputation that this is a guy that can be pushed around, and you're going to catch that much more flack when you fight back later on down the line. You got to establish early on that, yeah, you're willing to race respectfully, but you're not just going to be a doormat for all the drivers that drive over you on their way to race wins of their own right.
Absolutely. As we have a look at Dustin Ping trying to go down the inside of McGill. Where did Dustin Ping come from? They were up here earlier on fighting for the lead, and obviously the 81 has an extremely quick truck. We're on relatively newer tires, but Dustin Ping absolutely going for it to the back of the 01 almost. And Brody Gunter's got a little bit of a problem, but absolutely back to your point. One of the ways that Gunter can kind of stay out of the way is by winning the race by a second or two. The 01 can stay out of the way by just not being next to anybody.
Well, he's having a hard time pulling that off as Dustin Ping's got his inside line. Coming back around into turn numbers 1 and 2. Gunter drops back to the number 2 spot.
Very decisive from Dustin Ping. Again, drivers seeming like they're looking for the best consistent lap times, trying to keep their tires in check if they can. A lot less squirrely exits. They're a little bit more comfortable on this set. Dustin Ping sends it up in. Cuts it back late out of 2. A little bit of sideways action. A little bit of tightness from Gunter on board. The sun still not quite over the horizon.
Halfway home, 101 down, 99 to go. Jaden Hopp working the outside of Kevin Foster. A lot less double file now than we saw earlier on. Track conditions and environmental conditions changing, I think, has led to a good part of that.
It is fascinating that this is the same race as a bit. Oh, you see the sparks there, how low the light is. 00 again getting onto the wall, creating a bit of a show that they would rather not put on. Down the inside, Kevin Foster still trying to look, and that was a big send to the high side for the 00. That was hard on the brakes.
The laps, they go by quickly when you're running green here at Richmond. Look at Benjamin Lacey diving down the inside of, or trying to dive down the inside at least of Jaden Hopp. Wasn't able to get there that time, but Lacey's looking for it. He wants to get back into a top 5. Lacey, of course, won the inaugural race here way back in 2023 with a bump and run that put Kevin Foster into the outside wall in turn 4 on the final lap.
These drivers have been battling all season long. They're not, with the exception of Brody Gunter, they are not strangers to each other. They've gotten to see all different types of combatants in their rearview mirrors, up ahead, side by side as well. Dustin, I was going to say speaking of side by side, the opposite. Dustin Ping 1.6 and dropping Gunter, it seems like. Dustin Ping doesn't want his tires on his car anymore, and I think he's going to try to take them off.
Still have a long distance here in this one, James, as drivers, they continue to race like they're in the final 20 laps or so. I'm not entirely complaining about it because, I mean, hey, we're being given a great show to keep tabs on, but
Absolutely.
I question the wisdom of it at some points, especially that big 3 wide we had earlier on.
I wonder if Dustin Ping, who now has pulled up to 1.9 seconds up at the front, we're still seeing this fantastic battling. Kevin Foster trying to go down the inside of McGill, able to get to the door. Is that a clear? No, not possible. Coming into 3 and 4, and again, Lacey and Hop. Oh, that was a very late send. Aiden Browder trying to get the nose of that 5 machine in there. Browder kind of a darker horse in this race, hanging around that top 6 or so. But yeah, Dustin Ping really just pulling the pin at this point, 2 seconds to the good. I wonder if they're thinking that because they're close to that fuel window, right? We've seen how bad 55, 60 lap old tires are. I wonder if Dustin Ping's thinking, as soon as the window is there, I'm just going to go for it because everybody's going to have to pit anyway, at least once more. And I wonder if he's just going to try to take these tires off, get as far away from the pack as possible. And then once the final pit stops play out, maybe they'll have a bit of breathing room, trying to figure out what the 81's up to.
Brian Dees and Wesley Triplett still side by side for 9th and 10th as we are now 90 laps to go, running one of the longest green flag runs here of the afternoon. Caden Gargiulo alongside Caleb McKinney right behind them, also side by side. Field spreading out in earnest here. High up and coming right now. Last driver on the lead lap, 15 seconds off of Justin Ping. Even in the midfield, these guys are still going at it with no end in sight to the side-by-side action.
Yeah, nobody's content to stay where they are down the inside. Looks like the 16. It is Jonathan Canfield. We're going to have a look at one of the dummy racers of 47 of Peebles. Ryan Fleck just up ahead. Nicholas Caressel just in behind. Hasn't had the best day there, the 40 of Caressel, but is looking to fight their way back up through the field.
Up front, Brody Gunter, Kevin Foster running 2nd and 3rd. As Gunter doing everything he can do to try to maintain that 2nd place spot. How about Dustin Ping absolutely tearing away? Now, granted, Dustin Ping's got 26 lap pressure tires, right? But so does Foster, and Foster's struggling to overtake Brody Gunter here. So I think that kind of says a lot that Dustin Ping has got Richmond Raceway dialed in this afternoon.
Yeah, very, very quick laps. Of course, Michael Thorpe Jr. still holding that original fastest lap of the race, but Ping consistently pulling, half a tenth, a tenth here, maybe a tenth and a half on certain laps. So really, really putting in some serious pace. It's again lapping about a tenth and a half to maybe 2 tenths. And again, as you said, since we've had this long green flag run, Dustin Ping's just been able to pull the pin. And again, as we've been talking, it's gone from 3 to almost 3.5 seconds as Kevin and Gunter fight.
And I think that's the big reason why he's been able to pull that gap. When these guys are side by side like this, they are not able to maintain the advantage that they necessarily would have been able to earlier on. That's why Kevin Foster, at the moment, struggling to catch up to Dustin Ping. Brody Gunter still maintaining his momentum down on the inside of the racetrack. Oh, right behind McGill, and Hop nearly made contact, which would have led to Hop getting fenced. And McGill is fenced. Put himself in the wall there.
Hop's going to be able to come back through, and here they come down the inside immediately. The 48 straight back through with that wider line, a better slingshot through 1 and 2. Jaden Hop up 13 spots. Austin McGill up 16. Both drivers really hustling their way through the field, and now the 00 able to stamp their authority on those pair of corners. Wow, what a move. And again, straight back from McGill. That was, I wasn't sure how that was going to go, to be honest.
Well, the field still has a long way to go as the field is wanting to get themselves with the run going. Benjamin Lacey holding on to the outside line of Jaden Browder. Austin McGill wanted to charge around the high lane as well. Lacey doing everything he can do. Caution, and it's caressed all around in turn 1. Oh, sorry, that's 4. And this one here, James, came as a result of contact with Wesley Peebles. Walk us through it.
So coming out, basically trying to track up if we can. A good amount of margin going into 1. Oh, hang on. So we kind of swapped us. We're on the back straight. It looks like the 40 trying to turn down. Potentially thinking that they might have been clear. The 47. No, here you go. So the 47's going to come through. A bit of a shove. Oh, and it basically moved the left rear of the 40 to the left. The right front goes into the wall right as they're about to turn in. So again, you want the rear end of that 40 to be sliding to the right if you're going to have any slide at all. They basically sent the rear end the wrong way going into that corner, basically driving it like a jet ski or a boat. Oh yeah, so it hits the wall there, and there's no real moment that you can have trying to come in at that speed.
So caution out again with 78 laps to go. That's a long way here before we will get this party back started once again. But this the race has been good so far tonight. There's still a long way before we bring this thing to an actual close, though. So what we can do right now here, James, we can take a little bit of a look at some of what's coming up here on Green Flag TV over the next few days, because, boy, there is a lot coming up here for the channel in the next few days. Coming up, it's going to be the Silver Fox Racing Late Model Stock Championship. Just 2 races to go when we go racing once again on Tuesday night. PSR action will hit Indianapolis on Wednesday. The Beer League has made the decision to swing out to Homestead Miami Speedway for the road course. Castle Glass Company Series will take the Darlington Speed at New Hampshire for the quarterfinals of the Highline Diecast Bracket Challenge. Then on Sunday, the Blazing Pedals Truck Series will hit Martinsville alongside the Motor City Racing IMSA Championship when they swing to Detroit Belle Isle. James, lots to be excited about coming up here for the channel overall. Got a little bit of everything over the next week or so.
Absolutely. Only 2 more for Silver Fox, in particular Bristol, and then heading out to the National Fairgrounds as well for the final round of that series. Castle Glass has just entered their chase, so Thursday will be one that you wouldn't want to miss. And of course, the IMSA at Belle Isle, always a tricky track. Those walls are unforgiving, and those IMSA races are long, so trying to stay out of those walls is going to be a big deal. This one right here, though, this race we're watching has been absolutely fantastic. A couple of cautions, but otherwise it's been insane.
Green flag back in the air. 76 laps to go as we cruise back into 1 and 2, looking for 3 wide already. Caden Gargiulo, Dustin Ping did not come down pit road, so they're going to be swarmed by the field. A lot of checking up, a lot of door banging going on down the order. And Ping's being swarmed. Kevin Foster to the lead for the first time tonight. Oh, and around! Big mess in the back.
Oh, it's the one-time Marasco.
4, 5, 6, 7. It's the big one in the tri-oval. Massive crash on the back chute there.
A lot of trucks trying to not have residual accidents as well. Michael Thorpe Jr. trying to get back onto the track from the infield and almost collecting another car. unintentionally. So Ty Marasco was absolutely right in the thick of it. The question is, where does it start? We have the 74 triplet around the outside. The 25. Oh, so Ty Marasco. So it was the one trying to come up there, but there was 3 wide, and then triplet getting involved. They're piling up on the high side. And again, you see Michael Thorpe Jr. down low trying to get around Marasco, and then is going to come back up right in front of the 25.
Pretty big mess here. This is that speed, and Marasco just came up the track and frankly did that to himself. Look at Thorpe managing to juke through that on the inside. Let's ride on board with him. This has brought a lot of trucks down for damage repairs as well.
Bit loose on the exit of 4 across the stripe. A lot of smoke. There's drivers on the inside. We're going to try to go. Oh, there's Marasco. Pops out the DQ number 1. And then right on our right side is going to be Caden Gargiulo, who's going to pop up next. So really good heads up driving by both drivers. That could have been just another accident residual from the previous one. So again, heads up driving. Good job on their parts.
And quite a few problems as well when it comes, sorry, not problems, but quite a few drivers that are going to be having championship implications as a result of this as well.
Yeah, definitely looking at, again, Nicholas Caressel not having the best of nights as far as the 40 is concerned. Caden Gargiulo able to kind of make it through, but not in the spot that they want to be. There are a lot of drivers. And again, the other trick is just how close they are packed, right? I mean, you're looking at, maybe 15, 20 points separating like 7 or 8 drivers, and a total of around 12 drivers that are technically able to jump up through those positions. So it's kind of turning topsy-turvy, and those kind of moments, unfortunately, can be the deciding factor.
Green flag set to come out this time by, it'll be lap 132. So, James, we still have, again, a lot of distance, and are we about to see this race devolve into a cautions breed cautions string?
I would say no. I think that we're going to see a whole bunch of 2. I think we're going to see some great racing here, but I don't think it's going to turn into a caution fest.
Green flag back in the air. Time to find out. Foster in front for the first time. Now everybody's relatively set up on the same sets of tires, or at least within 10 laps of each other, which should make this a little bit less treacherous off the jump. As, I say that, they're making contact deeper in the field, and they nearly went around once more.
Triplet going slow into the 3rd corner. I think they've got that sorted back out, still on the track. Michael Thorpe Jr. well in the back, making a spot as we look at the 48 down the inside of 76 of Caleb McKinney. McGill trying to get all those spots back. 48 has mathematically overtaken almost the whole field, and is going to try and do it again. And it's just been such good racing, right? They're very close together. There's not too much space. Drivers using different lines. The outside looks good. The inside looks good. It just depends on who you're up against and how you can really get out of these corners. Oh, 3 wide further back. That was the 19 of Brandon Edgington going down the inside of the 16 and falling back.
You have got to be kidding me. I mean, this is going to be, I think, a pretty insane run from start to finish here, as drivers are doing everything they can to muster up the spots. I think a lot of drivers realize, that caution could come back out at any time. So everyone is scrambling. Everyone's trying to find something for each other before the tail end of this race.
Keep looking for a driver that might be kind of pulling back, holding off, seeing if they can run a decent, kind of long run pace, looking for life in the tires later on. And my eyeball cannot follow as Jaden Hopp now down the inside for the lead. I was going to see if the 00 might have fallen back a couple spaces. The answer is absolutely not, Nolan. They have hit the front, and they're still side by side with Kevin Foster.
For the lead, Jaden Hobb making the move on Kevin Foster, wanting to go to the point as they head down the back straight, but quickly tucks back a line. I think it got unsettled a bit coming out of turn numbers 1 and 2, and that causes Hopp to slip back into second. Foster will lead for at least another lap.
Yeah, Hopp taking that wide line through 3 and 4, 3 specifically. That's going to now try and do the same. A little bit into the middle of the road as Foster lights up the rears. The 8 doing a good job of leading, but Hopp's feeling the pressure from the 7 in behind. Benjamin Lacey been a thorn in the side of the 00s for a while, as they were 4 for the lead earlier on. Now it's 2 for the lead, and Jaden Hopp down the inside. What does Foster have on the exit?
Hopp still holding on to the inside groove. 60 laps to go. About to enter the final quarter of this race. Foster has not given up that high lane without a fight to Jaden Hopp down to the low side. Hopp is chasing win number 8 of his season here, as Benjamin Lacey still maintains the gap down on the inside line. What a run this would be for him if he's able to make it work. Hopp looking for win 28 of his overall career.
Yeah, impressive stuff from Hopp, not just this year, but in years past, as the 00 really has been. As here comes Lacey immediately to the bottom. What a move that is from the 7. And already alongside, Kevin Foster's gonna fight this one, of course. But when they were going side by side, oh, we have a caution as well.
And it's for Brandon Edgington around on the front straightaway. Is what is going to bring this one out. Overall, a tough break for the field for the time being here, but there's still distance to be had. Let's get a look back and see what happened to Edgington here. This looks like it may have all been self-inflicted here, James.
Let's have a look-see. So the Red Bull number 19 coming down into the corner. You don't have any drivers around. That left rear, right rear, maybe giving up. No, we're sliding up. Oh, it is sideways. It's just so late because, again, the start-finish straight isn't straight at all, but it's also not that really angular dogleg like Texas where you have to kind of chuck it in. It's just a very smooth corner, has plenty of banking, almost akin to the corners themselves. It's almost like they have 5 corners here at Richmond, but again, it just, I mean, the simplest way of putting it is the car's going left around the corner the way it ought to. You come out of that turn 4, you need the car to continue rotating, but you want to adjust it. Almost like you're surfing or like flying a kite, some kind of very kind of artsy style of control. And that's what the drivers are having to deal with every single time they get on the throttle out of 4. They're trying to ride up to that wall, trying to track out, and that truck just did not stop turning left.
$55 laps. And it'll be less than that when we go back to green. Oh boy. What do you reckon?
Well, I'm interested because 55 laps, I'm trying to see which drivers are heading, if anybody's taking this opportunity to come into pit road. And I think the trick is that we've seen drivers who have gone 55 plus laps on a set of tires. They didn't look good, but they have actually done it tonight. So I'm interested to see. I mean, I think we're in the window for drivers to be coming in, because in order to win this race, I don't think you'd want to have 60 lap old tires, and I don't think you'd want to really, I think you want the race to kind of come to you. So it's going to be kind of tricky. Now we have also had a handful of cautions as well, as it's gotten from 2x2, as I said, kind of the Daytona style. It's kind of turned into a little bit more of maybe not scrappy, but drivers really are pushing the edge, as we saw again the 19 going around just on their own, trying to find some extra pace. So I think it's basically a, do you think there's going to be yellows or not? And I think the field's thinking, yes, there will be yellows.
Coming around through turn numbers 3 and 4. I thought they were going to be going green this time. I got fooled. We are now 1 to green. It'll be 52 to go when we get back to this one. James, you're I got to be honest. I got nothing. This could be anything at this point. I mean, how this race is brought to a close.
Yeah, I wouldn't dare either. I think, I mean, so first of all, we've seen some fantastic moves. We've seen some really, really good racing. Unfortunately, we've seen a handful of cautions as well. They seem to be coming thicker and quicker towards the end of this one. I think there's lots of drivers that can still stamp their authority on this race, and by authority, I mean maybe leading by a second or so. This is just too close to call, and I cannot wait to see what happens at the end.
Green flag back in the air. Jaden Hoff, for the first time tonight, leads us back to the green flag. And here comes the Hornet's Nest as we head deep into turn numbers 1 and 2. To the back. And Hoff already clear by half a second as these guys can't get settled for the number 2 spot.
Yeah, really, really good jump from Jaden Hopp, who looks relatively comfortable even when they have moments in that truck, able to catch them, as we see a very close moment between Brody Gunter and Kevin Foster for 3rd position. Now the 01 to the inside of the 8. Who's going to get first dibs at Lacey if they can get there?
Multiple drivers, 3 wide, deeper in the pack. Scott Shire in the middle. Dustin Ping on the bottom. Contact there. Ping gets clear. Everyone scrambling off the wall. People struck the wall. Jaden Browder had to scramble. Everyone's able to hold on to it for now. We're officially into the final quarter.
Still have 50 to go again. All crew chiefs, please tell your drivers there are 50 to go. As into the wall. One of the dummy machines. Caleb McKinney having to check, apologies, the 48 of Austin McGill. Trying to keep it together as the 9. That was Ryan Fleck, who accidentally flicked it into the wall. And look, there's no margin anymore, Nolan. These drivers were going side by side, but there was a little bit of space. Ryan Fleck into the wall again. And what does McGill do down the inside?
At this point, you got to imagine drivers are going to be absolutely scrambling for these spots. Fleck into the wall, nearly dinging off the door into McGill. Behind, McKinney pushes Sean Williams up the racetrack, opens up room for Justin Payne, and now door check McKinney off of turn 4.
76 gave the 81 a little bit of English there on the right side of that red and black truck. As the white and cotton candy blue try to come back down the inside, fighting for 9th position. As we see Michael Thorpe Jr. trying to make their way up the inside of Ryan Fleck, so that 34 truck's trying to come back into it late. But it won't really matter how late they come back into it, as now Dustin Ping down the inside. Oh my goodness, and they're still tapping. It's almost 3 wide. They're just not quite clear. It's just little niggles just trying to keep out of the rear of the truck in front.
Every little piece of contact, the emotions and the frustrations build more and more and more. How long before somebody toes that line one step too far? Oh, Oh, right there! You just saw it! Fleck turns Dustin Ping around and into the outside wall. Caution is out. Well, they were playing nice. That no longer the case.
I would say that I'm surprised, but that looked like that was going to happen 3 or 4 times across 3 or 4 laps, and it never did. And so they did it a 4th time, then they did it a 5th time. And again, it's not quite 3 wide, but they're just, it's just,
that wheel made a very clear jerk to the left. I don't know if you saw that from this angle here.
Onboard Ryan Fleck.
Yeah, that wheel made a very deliberate twitch. I'm going to back this up by about another lap. Right, we'll get back to that in a moment. Right now, everybody is down pit road. So we'll pay attention to this here first. This is obviously a little bit more pressing in the moment as a lot of the field coming down pit road. Caressel, Ping, McGill, Foster, and Lacey, the top 5 have all stayed out.
Interesting that Lacey doesn't go with them. I'm surprised by that one. McGill's been quite aggressive. Ping's been kind of not off strategy, but has been a little bit on the alternative in terms of the way that they've been attacking the racetrack, especially with that 3-second gap they opened up.
So this is from Fleck. There's Dustin Ping right behind him. This is on the lap leading up to the incident. So
we're going to get swamped here into 1.
Ping's going to make the move down to the inside, and that move's clean. Like, there's nothing wrong with that move. But all of a sudden, I don't know what to tell you. I wonder
to see what the relationship was there with Thorpe Jr. on the high side.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I wonder if maybe he got scared by Thorpe coming off the wall and just tried to balance between it. Eventually, it didn't work. That's got to be it, right? Because, I mean, the two of them have not had beef all night long. I have to imagine he just got scared by the truck that's on top of him, right?
I think that could be the potential. Obviously, Thorpe Jr. making some good moves. And, of course, going in front of both drivers and leaving 1 and 2 being behind them. Not the best feeling. And, of course, the 34 is on the outside, and both trucks were significantly pretty far ahead. I mean, again, we're talking about, 6 inches of truck that was overlapping, but it just shows you how if you're not quite in there, I don't know. What it does show you, Nolan, is how hard these drivers are pushing for every single opportunity.
Green flag back in the air as racing action continues on. Under 40 laps to go now. Benjamin Lacey retaining his momentum up on the high side, right behind them for 3rd and for 5th. McGill, Hop, Ping, as well as Brody Gunter. Side by side up the hill, nearly for the lot of them. Dustin Ping able to get the advantage going as Kevin Foster holding on from the inside up the racetrack. And Austin McGill is able to get the run around him. Look at how tight everything is here coming into turn number 3.
That's what we were saying earlier. There's no margin. Look at the 48 trying to have a nibble on the inside of the 8. That's McGill trying to have a look at Foster. Currently technically fit as 3 wide. The 01 of Brody Gunter. This is 3 wide, 2 deep. No, this is absolutely insane.
Something's gonna give, and it's not gonna be pretty when it does. There goes Foster. He takes out Jaden Hopp. Everyone gonna go around in turn number 4. Somehow only Hopp goes all the way around.
So unfortunate. Able to lock it down as well. So the 00 did not roll back into anybody that I could see. The 89 of Sean Williams, I think, got a little bit of paint taken off the right side of their truck. Other than that, really good heads-up driving to try and stay out of that and not turn that into an accident like we saw earlier.
Yeah, you could unfortunately see that coming a mile off the road with how that was going. take another look back at the melee that sees Jaden Hopp go around, and all of that work over the last 100 some odd laps undone in a heartbeat. Thorpe got the back of Foster. Foster went down into Jaden Hopp. Nothing he could have done about it.
Browder almost went right into the left rear of the 34 of Thorpe Jr. That was almost the 34's, maybe the 34's day done almost, as Browder desperately tries to stay down low.
Good job on the field to avoid that.
That
could have, yeah, that easily could have been half the field. Great job on the pack to get around that.
Yeah, they've been boogieing all night long. And again, I cannot believe we saw, I think it was 3 wide, at least 2 rows deep, coming out of 2.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think any of those trucks were touching. I don't think anybody was leaning on anybody else. I think through the corners it got really, really spicy. But these drivers are, again, they're going for it. 34 laps to go. But it just shows you how much this means. And again, trying to make sure that you are in contention, trying to make sure that you are looking good. And Benjamin Lacey still out there on those 44-lap-old tires. Dustin Ping half the distance on their set. And Austin McGill still in 5th. Obviously lost a position or 2. But Austin McGill still within a shout. And the 48s also looked very, very... It's been kind of a tale of 2 halves of the race for the 48, I believe. The first half of the race, or so, the 48 seemed a little more docile, I guess. Very, very... almost tame, if you want to call it that. And the 48 has since really turned it up. And so I can't imagine what any of these drivers are going to be trying come the last 10 laps or so.
You and me both, as the field will get set to get stacked up, doubled up, and we will look to do it all over again. 33 to go. That will turn to 32. Green flag coming out this time by. Restart zone awaits. Once again, we are back to racing. Great getaway from Benjamin Lacey. Ryan Fleck. Oh my, nearly got cleaned out by Dustin Ping in turns 1 and 2.
That was a long way to go for that 9 to come all the way down. Able to get away with it, and right up to the back of Lacey as 3 wide 2 of the W Racing machines line astern. 25 of Caden Gargiulo leading that pack of cars as Browder down the inside of Ping, who's falling.
Fleck to the race lead, and could Ryan Fleck potentially go and look for one of his first wins of his High Tide Racing League career? It would be a big achievement. He has been in a position that would render him close, but so far Ryan Fleck has not been able to take this maiden win. It has remained elusive to him all season long so far. 3 wide deeper in the field as Brandon Edgington getting muscled out and now going around.
Oh, into the wall, but it was a pretty clean hit. Obviously, really unfortunate for the 19. We stay green as Michael Thorpe Jr. has now cleared Lacey and trying to chase down Ryan Fleck. I think the 34 is going to be an enormous problem for the 9 as we're still 2 wide, 2 deep. 76 of McKinney on the outside of Browder, and they're still not done as McGill still trying to do battle right in front of Tom Marasco. Into the wall goes the 48.
Goodness gracious. Everyone is getting crossed up here. Austin McGill holding on down to the bottom lane of the racetrack. Tom Marasco making his way up to the top shelf. Caleb McKinney and Benjamin Lacey holding on, as well as Austin McGill, Tom Marasco, Shire, and Bogaski all wanting to make moves. Very much in the end game now, approaching the final 25.
Benjamin Lacey in the number 7 back to 6th position. A couple of cars ahead of this battle. Looking at around the top 10. Brandon Bogaski, Ty Marasco just up ahead, and down the inside is Austin McGill, who I think those rears may be gone on board the 48. Doing a really good job of managing, but it just doesn't seem to have the bite, doesn't seem to have the confidence in terms of the tire wear. So McGill right up at the sharp end. And speaking of the sharp end, is a battle for the lead. They're bumping Nolan.
Contact for the lead. Thorpe, after starting on pole, he has been put through the ringer today. And Thorpe going back to the race lead. Michael Thorpe Jr., a driver with a lot of starts under his belt. Not nearly as many wins as he might like. He is looking to take win number 9 of his High Tide Racing League career and become only the 4th ever driver in 6 seasons with double-digit wins under his belt. 3 wide for second.
This is incredible. Ryan Fleck down the middle. Looks like Browder going to try to tuck back in, and Fleck still down the inside. Into 3, sends it deep, and Gunter up the road.
Somehow Gunter doesn't stuff it into the fence, and Fleck doesn't go around. And now Jaden Browder wants to throw his hat into the ring. 22 laps to go. Does anybody have anything for the 34 up front? Everyone is beating off each other like they're about out of hell.
This is absolutely insane. Nolan, this feels like this is the first 20 laps of the race. Oh, as Fleck almost drops it. Caleb McKinney saying do that a couple more times as the 76 chucks it into turn 1. It looks like Jaden Browder's trying to go for second.
Caution!
See the caution coming out.
Oh my goodness, and we can breathe. Kevin Foster brings this latest one out. He may have had help from Jonathan Canfield or Sean Williams.
The 8 leading a handful of laps this evening. Oh, we got a kind of a 2.5 wide. 16 comes down after getting loose. Good job locking it down for the 8, making it nice and easy to see. Oh, I thought that was going to be residual there. That's a shame for the 8. Kevin Foster bringing it on down pit road, and Michael Thorpe Jr. Remember the 34? Up at the front, of course, hasn't had the easiest of days, and will try and get a decent jump as Jaden Hopp looks like the lucky dog coming around to get their lap back. And oh my goodness, Nolan Browder looks so feisty, so feisty.
That's something that could be said for the entirety of this field as well. There is a long way to go. We're going to take ourselves a step back. When we return, racing action coming back at you here on Green Flight TV. You're watching the final laps of the High Tide Racing League's final regular series race from Richmond. We'll be back in a moment.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV. About to return to Green Flag Racing with 16 laps to go. Here for the High Tide Racing League in their 15th race on Green Flag TV. 16 laps the distance. We're back underway. Michael Thorpe Jr. leading the way into turn number 1. Well clear of the field for Thorpe. Gunter's able to punch his ticket into second, leaving these guys side by side for third and fourth behind with Browder and Fleck. Gunter hunting for the bottom lane as he pushes up the inside. 15 to go.
A little bit of blinking from Jaden Browder, but also tons of speed as Fleck tries to hang around the outside. Very close for the leaders. The 0-1 of Gunter trying to hang in there. And, it's just so close. Browder trying to have a look at the back of the 0-1. They're still side by side for first. They're still side by side for third. And they're just squirrely like crazy. They're driving as hard as they possibly can. 3 wide again for second.
3 abreast down the inside as Jaden Browder looking for the number 2 spot, trying to get a career best finish in his rookie season. Browder looking for the inside. Could Browder go for his maiden win of his High Tide Racing League career? He certainly thinks so. He had the inside of Thorpe for a moment.
Gunter having to back off. Browder really giving the 0-1 the business. Very tough racing coming out of 2 last time by. Browder able to slide back in. They're all in a line for a moment, and now they fan out as Fleck way up to the high side, going to try and slingshot as here comes Browder almost to the door, and the 34 still hangs on.
Thorpe trying to make a run here as Browder dives for the bottom lane. Thorpe going to track up from the inside as well. And we've got them around again over in turn number 1. Caution is out. This will put us to under 10 to go.
Oh, it's Foster again and McGill. Incredible how the highs of motorsport and the lows are just, it's just got to be some of the highest highs when it comes to any sport. And my goodness me, just shows you trying to be there at the end. It's just such a hard thing. Let's see what happened here. Is that Lacey?
Yeah,
on the bottom.
McGill.
Oh, and trying to get underneath.
Sends McGill up the racetrack, and he almost clipped Scott Shire. McGill almost had it saved. Then Kevin Foster comes sliding in, and that appears to be all she wrote. Robert Lukens had to escape to the apron.
Yeah, it looked like potentially the 48 obviously out of control at that point. So Foster thinking the 48's going to keep sliding up the track. And the 48 kind of stayed where they were. I mean, unfortunately, not trying to, but just trying to keep in control of the truck, and basically sliding sideways is basically slamming on the brakes. You want to use that expression. So not really anywhere to go. Obviously, the truck also at least twice as wide when it's turned at that 45-degree angle. But those kind of incidents can be so difficult to judge. Short track racing as well is so tricky because once these trucks get sideways with their slick tires, they stop pretty quickly.
James, I got to be honest, I'm out of words. This race has been something else entirely. I mean, this has got to be one of the most intense final races of a regular series season that we have ever had in this league.
It really, it just feels tense. It feels like you could reach out and touch it. It really is impressive. I really love Nolan. So Michael Thorpe Jr., obviously on board the 34 truck out in the lead. Just turned lap 193 of 200 here at Richmond. They've gained no spots according to the tracker, but that is absolutely not true. Meanwhile, Jaden Browder up 16 positions. Brody Gunter has been hanging around easily in the top 10. I believe in the top 5 for a majority of this this basically regular season ender. And so I just love how the tail of the tape doesn't really show you what's been going on. Michael Thorpe Jr. has been through it today. And 34 has really fought back, had some incidents, been lurking, really good pace, on the high side where they want to be, and is going to lead us off.
Coming back around, green flag, 7 to go. Will we hold on for the final 7 laps? My money is on probably not. Coming around, turn numbers 3 or 1 and 2. 3 wide, 2 rows deep. Here we go. Off of turn 2. Marasco nearly turns flag.
One able to get it, up onto the apron, or at least a little bit underneath the apron for the one still side by side for the lead. What is Gunter going to think about this as the 76th of Caleb McKinney still down the inside, almost 3 wide. Into turn 1 and 2. Browder trying to hang on low. Oh my goodness, these guys are going to make me run out of words, Nolan. This is absolutely insane. Does Thorpe have a clear? Absolutely not. Jaden Browder still there. Gunter kind of taking that hybrid line between them.
One driver, a veteran, looking for win number 10, who would only be the 4th driver in HTRL history to do so. One driver, a rookie, has been luckless so far this season, looking for his first win. Another driver, a debutee, looking for his first win in his maiden start. 3 drivers, each with their own stories to prove, as we got 4 laps to go from the Richmond Raceway. Trouble in the back. They're able to hold on.
It's like Caleb McKinney losing a handful of spots as there's nothing between them. How close can Browder get to that number 34? Thorpe Jr. and Browder absolutely changed. This is a big moment here. The 5 got a good run into 3. 34 will try and come back on the main straight. And now look at this. Benjamin Lacey, we were talking about it earlier with only 3 laps to go. The number 7 has the freshest tires of almost anybody in the field, and Lacey is right there.
Oh, Lacey's been turned up the racetrack, almost in the outside wall, still pedaling. Now he collects flag and he's around hard. Caution's gonna come out, and we're going into overtime.
I cannot believe what I've seen. I am absolutely not speechless, but I need to collect my jaw from the floor. So Thorpe Jr. is in the lead. Browder was side by side. Gunter Ty Marasco with 7 lap younger tires has been in the pits 8 times today. Ty Marasco currently 4th as Benjamin Lacey. We were talking about it off air. Does Lacey have a chance? Lacey was in 18th position earlier on when we took a break.
Boy, Lacey
up to 4th position. Oh my goodness me.
Lacey got hit from behind by Fleck and then effectively got him back unintentionally, and then Fleck got Lacey back again and punches them all around into the wall. Just one thing leads to the next, leads to the next.
Wow, well the 7 was right in behind Gunter.
Oh my goodness.
There wasn't really a lot of space on the front end of that 7 to really kind of push any harder into the corner. So I think that's just a really, really tricky spot. And I think Fleck trying to get every inch they can, but that was kind of a tricky one there into 3.
Yeah. It is overtime here in the High Tide Racing League. A 2-lap dash to decide it. Unless we crash on the first lap back, then we'll reset, try it again.
Have we seen any 4 wide this evening, Nolan, to your memory? No reason, just wondering.
I think we actually have. There was one point earlier in the race where we did, for not for long. It was because one car was really just getting sideways. But, you know, it was a case of there was for maybe a couple seconds.
Oh, man. I will say, for the launches for the driver on the outside, that they have been pretty significant. And the field has been able to catch back up to the leader. We've seen some fantastic side-by-side action. You see Browder, they're diving on the brakes, almost scraping the front splitter of that number 5 machine. I think that Thorpe will get a really good run, and it's going to be like the last 3 corners or so is where Browder's going to try to come back at him. So we'll have to see how Thorpe does this.
2 laps. About 1.5 miles to settle it. Green flag is in the air. Michael Thorpe Jr. trying to hold on up at the front of the field. Ty Marasco tucking in a line behind him. Jaden Browder just barely got the nose in there to keep Michael Thorpe Jr. from cutting off the inside. Trouble behind. Contact. Big crash. 5 trucks going around. Caution's out for the second attempt at overtime.
McGill again. Wesley Peebles. These accidents are so big. There's just nowhere to go. Drivers looking for spots, and they're getting basically kind of corralled in their 2 and almost 3 wides. It's so tricky.
This will be the look at what happened as didn't even make a lap. This is actually the first time we haven't made it a full lap. And McGill did that to himself. He chopped the nose of McKinney like he wasn't even there. I don't know if I surely realized they were 3 wide. I just don't know if he realized how close he was to them.
Trying to think if maybe they were thinking that the driver on the inside might back out, seeing the 48 coming down and maybe think better of it. No, yeah, the 76 was able to go a little bit lower. Gargiulo was there, so the 25 was able to really hold a line really low, which meant that the 76 was able to also run a bit lower, able to claw back some space on McGill, which kind of basically turned that from a 1 truck gap into a half truck gap. There's one more thing in play here, Nolan, and I'm seeing it a handful of times, is unfortunately the spattering of connection related blinks from the 5, which of course we haven't seen any kind of issue side by side with Browder, but I'm sure that Marasco, Gunter, and Thorpe Jr. are keeping an eye on that, and they will be aware. But it is there. It's just one more variable for these guys to worry about.
Well, we had attempt 1. Now we have attempt number 2. Do you think attempt 2 goes any different, or do we get to the white flag this time by?
I don't think it's fair for you to ask me that question.
It's a coin toss, let's be honest.
I don't think we make it. I don't think we make it. I think the way this feels, again, it's just thick with the anticipation of trying to figure out. I mean, both drivers up front weaving around. They're really going to go for this. Every single driver in the field is really going to be going for it. I can't imagine anybody not going 100%.
Coming off of turn number 4, green flag back in the air as we get set to Hightailer back down to turn numbers 1 and 2. Thorpe trying to hold on. We'll see if he has got an answer for this field. Jaden Browder to the lead, looking for his first win this year in his High Tide Racing League career. Coming off of turn numbers 3 and 4. White flag in the air. Jaden Browder cruising down into turn numbers 1 and 2. Thorpe trying to see if he can get there. Does Thorpe give him the bumper? He looks for the inside. He dives for the inside. Oh, and he's around. They're both sliding up the track. Here comes Brody Gunter. Gunter can't get him. Thorpe's in the wall. Browder takes the win for the Richmond Raceway. And a massive crash to the line.
Unbelievable.
Oh,
Jaden Hopp involved with that as well. The best restart from second place we have seen the entire night. and it happens on the final restart for the 5. Incredible.
No words. What a finish. And for Lucas Huey Racing, one of their first wins of their High Tide Racing League entries as well.
Excellent burnout as well. I'm surprised. How can I be surprised by the burnout as well? Oh, there we go. A little bit of battling there.
Oh my goodness. He's going to be a happy, happy camper, and understandably so, deservedly so at that. This has been a long time coming for Browder. All season he's been looking for this. Boy, he nearly lost it though. Thorpe gave it everything. In turn number 3, take a look at this moment that sees Michael Thorpe Jr. crash to the checkered flag.
The 34 just trying to go down the inside, trying to get the nose, get anything. And basically at that point, Browder would either allow it or not. And Browder did, oh my goodness, and again, all the residual.
Oh my
all the residual carnage.
And this is just coming to the checker flag, right? I mean, you know nobody is lifting out of the brakes for an incident like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, if you can go straight through the 2 in front of you, you might make a couple of spots. Holy moly.
What an afternoon. Jaden Browder with his first ever career win. And behind him, Brody Gunter in his maiden start will finish second. An admirable effort for him. Brandon Bogaski finishes in 3rd. Brian Dees in 4th. Marasco in 5th. Scott Shire in 6th. Gargiulo, Foster, Hop, and Canfield will round out the top 10.
Ryan Fleck for Dummy Racing in 11th. Brandon Edgington in 12th. Caleb McKinney makes it to 13th. Sean Williams 14th. 15th is Hayo Vankaman. Robert Lukens in 16th. Dustin Ping finishing 17th. 18th, Nicholas Caressel. Michael Thorpe Jr. ultimately finishes in 19th. Wesley Peebles in the top 20.
And down the field from there, it's Lacey, McGill, and Triplett to close out the field. Wesley Triplett, Austin McGill, and Benjamin Lacey, the only 3 drivers failing to finish this race as well. What a run that we had on the afternoon. Let's get a rundown and give a chat here with the drivers that finished this race. Numbers 1, 2, and 3. We'll start it off first and foremost with Jaden Browder, man of the hour. First win of his High Tide Racing League career. Jaden, this has been a long time coming, and you nearly lost it in turn number 3. Talk us through that final lap.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for Michael because we raced clean on all those restarts, and, you know, it kind of feels bad that he kind of got the short end of the stick there. But I sent it in. He sent it in even harder. I didn't think. He was probably going to move me up the track. So, I mean, I think it's fair, but, you know, it's up to them. But been a long time coming. I've been having internet issues, but I think I'm finally going to be able to have them fixed over the next couple weeks. So hopefully I can get a few more.
Overall, talk us through what this race was like, because it was a battle all the way up to the front for you. 18th on the grid. How did you find your way up at the front by the end of this thing?
I don't know, really. I mean, the truck was good all night. Sometimes it was tight, sometimes it was loose. It was really dependent on how you're driving it. So I think just trying to save tire on those long runs. I was hoping we'd have more long runs, but, I mean, it worked out. I got to thank LHR guys, Brandon and Caden and Aiden. I know Aiden isn't here, but got to thank them for helping me do this truck racing with them.
Overall, run for the chase. It's looking like it's going to be quite an intense drive. Unfortunately, not one that you're going to be able to join in on, missing the call here this time through. But do you have any plans to be back to try to get into the chase next season?
Yeah, of course. I joined a little late this season, so kind of sucks. I wish I could, but yeah, I definitely look forward to trying to go race next season.
Well, we'll wish you the best of luck next time out then. Congratulations on coming home number 1 in your first ever win for Lucas Huey Racing. We'll see you next week in New Hampshire.
Hey, thank you.
Jaden Browder coming home number 1. James, you've caught up with Brody Gunter in his debut start. He finishes number 2.
I have caught up with Brody Gunter. It's kind of tricky considering the pace of the 01. sticking it on the front row in your first high tide event there, Brody. A bunch of 3-wide action that we saw. We up here in the comms booth got our money's worth. How was it out there from your perspective?
Yes, sir. It was very exciting, I would say. I mean, I think I was amazed with how chaotic but clean the racing was. I mean, I don't think I've ever been that many 3-wide rows deep, and yet I don't think there was a wreck in that situation. I think after that first, I think it was the second caution, I think we had it. And just overall, it was a lot of very close, and I wouldn't say aggressive, but I would say more on the aggressive side racing that was still smart in the fact there wasn't a lot of wrecks and well, I guess maybe there was a lot of wrecks, but a lot of wrecks in the fact that that's not where I feel like most of them came from.
What would you say was the trickiest part of this race in terms of trying to make sure that you were where you kind of wanted to be? Because there were some times where it looked like Dustin Ping in the 81 was 3 seconds up the road. There were times where, again, you guys were 3 wide, or you were two deep, maybe 6 rows back. There were a bunch of different moments, and then there was a couple of really long green flag runs where it seemed like the field was able to go kind of single file. What was kind of the main section of the race where you were kind of able to make a big difference?
I feel like any time where I was kind of level on tires, I feel like I spent a lot of the race staring at Nothing Stops Ram. About the entire race, that was just at eye level for me a lot of the time. But I mean, I think the biggest thing overcoming was whenever people had different tire ranges, like with Dustin, I think he was on 20 Sun Lap newer tires, so I kind of knew at that point I was able to chase him down. I just needed to hope for a caution, which we did eventually get. And then I would just say as well, a lot of battling, so you had to be very quick with adjusting your lift-off points and throttle points and running the line, carrying the most amount of speed you could at the moment what was happening. So I feel like I did pretty well with all of it. It was very tough to pass on the bottom the entire night. I feel like that was the biggest thing, is I was a lot faster than a lot of people. I feel like I was behind. I just had no way to get around them on the bottom, and the outside was very hard to get there.
Well, you certainly, along with the field, but you also in particular put on quite a good show. Fantastic showing this time out. Anybody that you'd like to shout out or thank?
Yes, sir. I guess shout out to MFRD for letting me hang out with them, and to Brian at it for inviting me, as well as everyone here at High Tide for putting on this event, and for letting me race tonight, as well as you guys at Green Flag TV for broadcasting it, and a shout out to my personal page, Birdie Gunner Racing.
Well, certainly a way to stamp your name on the High Tide Racing League. Congratulations on P2.
Thank you.
And we'll move on down to Brandon Bogaski, bringing it up here, number 3 here on the afternoon. As Bogaski, you are third on the day, and for the first time, you are on the podium here in the High Tide Racing League. How does it feel to finally be amongst the front runners?
It feels good. It's about time, huh?
I would certainly say so. Talk us through the afternoon. This was not an easy fight for a lot of drivers here today. You started the top 10, though, and made the most of it. You're now up in third.
Yeah, the whole race, especially I'd say even the first half of it, I was struggling with my internet. Turns out it was my cable, and I gave it a little wiggle, and it stopped blinking. So, that took me out of the race mentally a lot, and then but once I got it sorted, I was able to really lock in. Fun race. Never raced this track before. I'm new to oval racing, so this is my second league, and I'm having a hell of a time.
Kind of talk us what the game plan is going to be for you, because you are going to be amongst the drivers, I believe, that managed to race your way into the chase. You were, of course, tied in a 3-way tie for that final bump spot coming into here on this one. Yeah. So what's the plan for the chase?
I don't know. Just continue to try to keep my head down, and I gotta practice a little more. I came in a little cold today. But not much of a plan. I'm just gonna give it all I got.
Well, it certainly worked out well for you here this afternoon. We'll wish you the best of luck when we go racing once again. Congratulations on coming home third place with your first ever High Tide Racing League career podium. We'll see if it's the first of many, and we'll see what you can do come the chase.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Brandon Bogaski, number 3 here this afternoon. And James, let's take a look at the championship standings as they run. Now, this is very unofficial, pending a lot of post-race review, I would have to imagine, after this one. But here's how they run as it stands. Your drivers in would be Jaden Hopp, Wesley, Trevor, Michael Jr., Benjamin Lacey. They were locked in entering tonight. Then it would be Caressel, Marasco, McGill, Fleck, Bogaski, Gargiulo, McKinney, Williams, and 13 points out, Kevin Foster. This is, of course, all unofficial as of right now, but for the time being, these are your top 12 who will be racing it out for a championship.
Incredible stuff. Look at the potentially a couple of, Brandon Bogaski able to kind of launch themselves up there into the top 10 as well. It just shows you again how late in a race things could turn on its head.
Still a long way to go before we go back to racing here. Before we close out this championship here this afternoon. Not a long time though before we have to wait for more racing action on Green Flag TV. Silver Fox Racing Late Model Stock Championship back for more tomorrow afternoon at Bristol Motor Speedway. From there, PSR will take to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, racing at the famed Brickyard, while the Beer League will hit the Homestead Miami Speedway's infield road course. Caswell Glass Company action will swing out to the Lady on Black, while the Speed Cup Series will give us a prelude of what we can expect to see at the Magic Mile. Blazing Pedals action will be at the Paperclip in Martinsville, while Motor City Racing heads where else? The Motor City itself. The Detroit Grand Prix of Belle Isle awaits the IMSA Championship on Sunday. Want to find out more about who you are, what we can offer you? Check us out today at www.greenflag.tv. Once again, my name is Manola Rempel alongside James Newton. Thank you all so much for joining us. We'll see you all next time when we go racing in the chase on Green Flag TV.